Welcome to Waiver Watch episode 24 on April. What day is it, Jake? You help me out.
April 26th.
April 26th. 2020.
It is
we are
quarter to 10 p.m. This is the latest Waiver Watch we've ever recorded.
It is
because it was a big day.
It was a very big day. Very big day.
So,
so we'll run through the agenda real quick and we'll tell you why it was a big day. So the agenda, obviously, as always, weekly totals, followed by a couple interesting waivers in those weekly totals. But then we're going to jump right into Flytrex drone delivery. And that's why we're doing this Waiver Watch so late.
That's right. So, totals. Let's hit it quick.
Absolutely.
We had 35 waivers approved. Not bad.
Woo. No, so still low, though. Still low.
Still low. There was something other than night waivers, though. Remember that? Just night waivers last week.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's 31 daylight operations waivers, 1 BVLOS, 2 ops over human beings, and 1 high altitude. And we're going to just hit on those kind of the interesting ones just real quick.
High level.
So BVLOS went to Dominion Energy. They essentially are doing some transmission line inspections, and they're going to get approval to do daisy chain VOs. So you need to have 1 VO essentially every 2 miles to watch airspace around the U.S. as they do the transmission line inspection. We've seen these before, but it's great. Dominion Energy got one. UPS Flight Forward got one of the ops over human beings, which is kind of interesting. It's actually a COVID waiver, like we talked about 2 weeks ago as well. And must be some sort of parachute delivery work that they're doing that they got this ops over human beings for. And finally, the high altitude went to this one. This one's interesting just because it's way out in the middle of nowhere, Alaska. It's a Toolik Field Station. It's like Arctic biology with University of Alaska Fairbanks. It's way up there. But
I'm looking at the screenshot. It is nowhere.
Yeah. And so Amanda Young there got approval to operate up to 700 feet. 699. Oh. She didn't ask for 700. So,
wow. This is our first responsible person that is a woman with 107.51B. So I would say extra congrats to Amanda Young for that, pulling that one off. Huh?
Is she the first? I don't know about that.
Are you sure? 107.51B. I do believe so.
No.
We'll fact check.
Yeah.
No fake news on this station.
I'm sure she's just doing some mapping, just a guess. This place does a lot of GIS mapping, research, and so on. So she's probably just getting a little higher to do some more efficient mapping. And it's like a 10-mile radius, so it's a pretty big area. So, so that's the quickest we've done 3 interesting waivers, I think, because we want to get to the main event and talk about that for the most of the episode here. So, Brent, what were you doing today? There was some news out there.
There was. So we've been hinting in our past episodes on kind of what we're up to very slightly. If you knew what we were up to, you would definitely pick up on the cues. But we were performing drone delivery today with Flytrex, the Flytrex drone delivery system in Grand Forks under Part 107. So we've been excited. We've been working on this for a long time, knowing that we were going to do this, over a month ago, and just putting the right things in place before we execute. So, that's why we're doing our special edition, and we're also shooting extremely late. So, as you can see, I'm in a different location. We have the Matrice 600. This is the Flytrex first aircraft. However, there is something special working up with Flytrex that will probably be released sooner than later that people will hear about, but I won't talk about that too much. Yeah. But essentially, that is in the flesh what is being used today. This one has actually been out in the field today. We flew it, did drone deliveries, all organic, by the way, too. So very interesting.
All organic. You mean the eggs that you delivered, or the the operations that you?
It is so funny. So when we're out there, right? we're out in the wild. So we're not telling the customers what to order. We're not telling them when to order. They're just picking what they want. And we have a super center just behind us that we're getting deliveries from or orders from. And we have 150 items in the app that they can go and buy. And we don't let them, we don't have restrictions. We don't have anything. We just say, have at it. And this is what we got to deal with. We got to figure out what does the customer want. Because at the end of the day, nobody cares about what drone is coming to bring you your burrito or bring you your soda or anything. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that I'm sitting on the couch and I'm watching YouTube or I'm playing video games or I'm doing whatever, and I'm out of Coke or I'm hungry and I want a Hot Pocket, or hopefully you're eating better and you want some steak or whatever, but you don't want to go to the store. So just give me my things. I don't care what drone it comes in. Just I want it fast. And that's why we're here. That's why we're out here doing that. And yeah, one of the things that we talked to the customer afterwards and said, why'd you pick eggs? Like, well, we just want to see if they would break. So they needed them in a couple of days and needed them right away.
Did your soft delivery?
They did not break. So
I think I saw, so just speaking of all the reasons this is different, right? I think I saw like Kiki Air, they literally just, or maybe it wasn't them, but they literally just like drop.
No, it was thing. Kiki Air.
Was it them? Yeah. Okay. So like you look up and you tell the pilot it looks good, and then it just like literally drops your sandwich and it smashes into the ground, and what eggs would not work.
Do you remember what drone it was on?
I don't.
Yeah, it was a DJI drone for sure. Oh, yeah, it was a DJI drone. Yeah. But yeah, they had like some sort of release mechanism, and that is actually a sandwich that was wrapped in blue bubble wrap.
Yeah, right.
Like dropping your sandwich from 60 feet in bubble wrap is going to do anything. It stayed in the wrap, so that's good. But yeah, definitely not. That's the quick and dirty way. If you want to move something from one point A to point B, and you don't have a lowering mechanism, you don't have anything else, but you just have a latch, like you can literally drop food bombs on people. But like, here's the thing is that's not really that safe. Even though it's a burrito, right? As you get higher, the speed and the weight and just the kinetic energy of that burrito will go up, right? And if it hits you, it's not going to feel good. And we always think in a sense of like people, full-size human beings, right? But when I was, preparing the missions for Flytrex, I had my nephew. He's very interested in drones, and he's only 4 years old.
Yeah,
and
that picture,
and I'm looking at it, and it really gives a good perspective to say this is why safety is so important. Because when we're adults, maybe sometimes we forget about that there are kids and children out, and they're really small, and a matrice blade or whatever, it's 22 some inches, and that's pretty big for a kid that stands less than 3 feet tall. So this is why it's important. You shouldn't be dropping food from the sky, So anyways, yeah.
So yeah, let's just maybe go through the process here, right? So I think, sitting in my house, I want something, go to an app, I pick it out. Now, maybe explain like, okay, yes, the person could totally go to the store and get this. It's probably a mile away or less. But like, given the situation right now, like, why is this an advantage over driving to the store, going in, getting your items, all that?
Yeah. So, real quick, I'll side tangent. There's a reason why we're seeing all these different, operations come out now, these drone delivery operations. It's because it actually is fulfilling some sort of need, right? And to get to that point, why does 107 drone delivery line of sight make sense right now? Because if we can eliminate, 100 more people going into a store and just having that one point of contact where we can be extra careful with making sure we're, sterile and all that, that's that's good for the community. That's how you reduce that community spread and everything. So it's really, there are advantages, and it's so easy to overlook it because, looking at the finish line, which is scalable, multiple UAS operated by one people, flying BVLOS, 50 pounds of cargo. That's the end goal, okay? But we can't skip steps. We can't go from 0 to 100 in one night, So we'll start at 107. There's so much things to learn here. Like, we're learning things every day when we're out there in the field. You can't sit at your desk and plan everything and think that you're going to be right, because the second you go into the field, you're wrong. That's just how it happens, you know.
So you guys were wearing like masks, and gloves, and sanitizing things and all that.
Just like you know, the big box retailers, they're requiring their staff to wear face masks, which helps the spread. And we are taking what would be accepted as generally good practice for eliminating transmission of COVID-19, trying not to get things on our hands, eliminating our touches and all that, and then cleaning and sanitizing equipment, as needed. So,
yeah. And so, you load it up, send the drone out. The customer gets a notification, I think, right, that this thing is coming, and you see a lot of the news, like people, reaching up and grabbing their bag. But why, again, like, why is this, we're following 107.2339, all that. How do you guys do it?
Yeah. So a big push for this operation is not just to do 107 drone delivery, but do it right and do it safe. Flytrex has been working with the North Carolina IPP, North Carolina DOT in the IPP program. They have a partner, Kazi Aviation, which is a current Part 135 cert holder for traditional manned aviation. So they're working on that for unmanned. And really, there's been a lot of conversations the past couple of years, and it's all centered around safety and building the capability of these drones. So there's no reason for us to step back from all of that progress that they've been making and ignore what's right, and to be extra safe. That's just what we have to do. Is we have to be thinking, how do we avoid operations over people? How do we plan routes? We picked our delivery location because it allows us to check all the boxes of Part 107 and reduce our risk. We're not crossing many roads. We only cross one road. It's very low traffic. So just like looking both ways before they cross the street, that's what we're able to do with the drone. And frankly, sometimes, when during the mission it starts, right, you may have people coming or cars or whatever. We can see far enough out because we're in North Dakota. We can anticipate these cars coming from a long ways. And our deliveries only take 4 minutes down and back. So it's once you observe the environment, you're able to kind of draw some more conclusions on how you can even improve the safety of your operation while being out there. So, it's really a professional operation. I would really, stand behind that and be proud of how we are operating. We did this back in 2018 at the golf course here in Grand Forks, and we had the FSDO come up and they audited our operation, and they were very happy and pleased with what we were doing. And we continued with that level of safety and brought it now into a more urban environment where there are more variables happening, but still operating at the same level of safety. So,
the FSDO is probably not traveling as much these days, but not that
no.
would matter if they did come up or not. But
it'd actually be great if they came up, to be honest. Like, it's not a bad thing when the FSDO comes to visit you.
The drone kind of lowers the payload, drops it off right in the backyard at this point, right?
Yep.
So, like, honestly, probably, I was thinking about this, the worst part about it is probably like having to put your sandals on to walk into your backyard, right?
Right.
We'll have to figure out a way to, like, shoot it in the mail slot at some point. But Gotta get off the couch and walk out to your backyard, get some sun, get your delivery.
Right. I mean, it's a pretty nice transaction the whole way through. Good experience. The customer is able to monitor the progress of the package, and when the drone arrives too, there's a lot of questions to be answered. Like, okay, what happens if you come in the backyard and there's a dog, right? Well, there's safety features built into Flytrex's system that in the event there would be a snag on this cable that's lowering the line, it knows that and it will release the line so that the drone stays in the air. And, you can sacrifice the package. You don't want to sacrifice the drone. How do you make sure that the customer gets the order, right? Well, they're the only ones that can approve the release of this package. So let's just say, down the road when, they're ordering food right now, but let's just say they order a Game Boy. Do they make Game Boys anymore?
Game Boy, wow.
Game Boy. Nintendo Switch. I think that's the new one, right? But let's just say you order a high value item, right? How do I ensure that I get my package and that my nosy neighbor who's kind of sketchy doesn't take my new Nintendo Switch for my kid? Well, you're authorizing that delivery. So, after 60 seconds, if no one authorizes that delivery, the drone brings the package back and says, sorry, we weren't able to deliver. You didn't accept. We'll hold the order and kind of go through that. But these are all the extra levels of things you have to think about. Like, it's one thing making the drone fly and deconflicting airspace and all that, but what about the customer? Because that's what matters. Is we need the safe thing, but we need to care about the customer at the end the most. So,
I think those are the things you uncover by just going and doing some of the 107 stuff. It's like some of that's so interesting, will these drones just will you have at some point in the future like a landing pad in your house with a secure box, and that's where the drones deposit the goods, when you're not speaking of, when you're not there to approve it? Will you have to install some infrastructure to accept the drone and the package? Just crazy things that I
think that's a ways out. I think everything needs to be focused on cost. If prices go up, if it's too expensive to use, then the technology doesn't work. So this cost needs to be driven down. So every time you add an extra thing, a specialized drone delivery box at your house, that's one more reason to say, no, I don't want that. I'm just going to drive this store because I'm not going to pay $50 a month for this drone delivery box outside, that this drone lands on and puts my package in for, But then there's ways that companies, large companies can, work that out, work deals out, all that stuff. But reduce the barriers, reduce the friction, and drone delivery will be is a real thing. Frankly, these people are ordering organically. We're not telling them to order anything. So we even delivered there's a local fast food restaurant chain just across the street. We added those items to the store today. We didn't even tell any of the customers that we were adding to them, and all of a sudden we got an order and we're like, well, we're halfway through adding this menu items, but okay, we'll deliver it. They want it. So that shows active users too. They were in the app browsing around, and we pushed it live, and they ordered. And we're like, the developer that was working on that was, just adding menu items is super easy, and they were super excited to see that it was already coming in. So,
it wasn't like a super hot day, but maybe that iced coffee when it, warms up a little bit more. But
now we're going into summer, so people drink coffee no matter what time of year it is. But another thing too is keeping the food at the correct temperature. We did reach out to the homeowners that ordered the fast food today, and we said, glad you ordered, glad it was amazing and everything. But the first number one question was it warm? Was it hot? And they said yes, just like they got it at the restaurant. It was that warm. So we were able to move the items quickly, which is super important as well, because at the end of the day, you're competing with ground transportation, food dudes and Uber Eats and all that, right? And if you can't beat Uber Eats on price, then you need to beat them on speed. So time, at the end of the day, I truly believe what you're selling with drone delivery is time. Time is our most valuable resource. And that's why it doesn't matter what drone it is. All it matters is, does it make my life better? Does it make it easier? Do I get things faster? When Amazon started 2-day Prime, right? Nobody was like, why do I want to pay extra? Now it's by default, when you order things from Amazon Prime, if you don't get it in 2 days, you're mad. You're like, what? But 10 years ago, we waited 2 weeks to get things. We were okay with it. But now we're not, so.
Yep. All right, last wrap up here. So what was your favorite part of the day?
My favorite part of the day was, I think, getting those fast food orders out, and just seeing how quickly the customers were reacting to new additions to the menus. They were excited. That's the number one thing, is that there's a lot of naysayers out there about Part 107 drone delivery ops, or just drone delivery in general. They're just like, it's dumb, it's not scalable, blah blah blah, right? But you just need to ask the customer today that didn't have to leave their house during COVID-19 to get fast food. And oh, by the way, this line for this restaurant it's a half an hour. We went through the drive-through, and we can go in and pick up orders. So we just pick up the orders instead of going through the drive-through. But we saved them time. Like, that's what we did, and it was convenient. So super easy. They pay through the app. The transactions is seamless. That order goes directly into our system, into our queue, and we launch a drone based on that. And so I think that's the most, fun and interesting thing. And also, like, we were able to perform these all safely. Like, there was no like moments where we were questioning any of that. So that's number one too, aside from a happy customer. So
boom. Nice.
Boom. So yeah. So stay tuned, right? Because
much more to come. Yeah,
we'll be sharing more. This is only
going to be a thing for like a thing. I mean, right?
Yeah,
it's drone delivery.
Out there right now, it's just as long as the customers want it, we're going to continue to work with it. So
yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so more to come. We'll get some fresh content out there and release it as we can.
Perfect.
All right. Till next time.
Fly safe.
Take care.